and just quickly go over the format for today. We're going to go through the list. When it's your turn, please introduce yourself and your company, give us your 2-sentence description, and then vocalize your question. I am recording this. I will share the full video out to everybody in the OCB Founders channel. We will publish a recap video and blog post. If there is anything that you want cut from the public video, we can accommodate that. Just reach out to me and let me know. We can flag it. And with that, I am going to pass it off to Jeff. You've got the first question.
All right. Thanks, Erica, and thanks for hosting. Sid, good to see you again, team. Nice to see you all too. So I'm Jeff Fernandez, the founding CEO of Kedify. I provided more information in the overview portion of this document. So if you
great, I read it.
Great, thank you. So the question is, Google Cloud Run's building native autoscaling on top of Keda, which I think is both an exciting opportunity and something for us to take a quick look at and just track carefully. Should we view this as competitive? And if not, how could we position it as an opportunity for partnership, potential differentiation, or go-to-market alignment? You've seen this before. How would you approach it? Please.
Yeah, I don't think you have to be worried about this because Google Cloud Run, if you look at all the compute in the world, it runs probably, I don't know, less than 5%. So there's the other Google offerings, like just plain Kubernetes cluster. Then there's the other hyperclouds, and then there's the non-hyperclouds, like self-hosting and everything else. So it's not going to hurt you. Now, so it's an opportunity to reach a bigger audience. Now, Google engineers are very much not invented here, so I'm not sure you're able to get close to them. But I would approach them and say, hey, look, this is super awesome, and we view it as an opportunity for us. We are happy to give you a non-exclusive license to our stuff for Cloud Run, so you can use it, because we want more people to become familiar with this. And in exchange, we'd love a mention in the blog post that you use this.
Fantastic. All right. I will reach out and say exactly that. Thanks, Sid.
It's probably not going to work, but worth a shot, right? If there's any other way to be part of that announcement, that'd be great.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Lars, another company that's benefiting from a hyperscaler embracing their product.
Exactly. So everyone, my name is Lars, and I'm CTO of Locust. Locust is an AI-powered load testing tool that ensures your site can handle spikes in traffic before they happen and identifies the performance impact of any system changes before they become a problem. So my first question is about the distribution. In the handbook, it's quite clear that we should do one distribution, and it should be both the proprietary stuff and the open source. I'm a little bit worried about how that might be received, and I wonder if it's possible to do the same way that GitLab does with one pure open source distribution and one enterprise. And the reason I think we might be a little bit special is because we're basically providing a library framework. So it's not hard to switch to the enterprise license if you have installed the open source one first, basically, or the open source distribution, I mean.
Yep, it's not hard, but it is still a step, and you want zero friction. So everyone will ask you for split distributions. Those are all the people that never want to use your proprietary stuff. So they're not going to make you any money. So don't listen to them. And then get the hurdle out of the place. I've met multiple companies who say, oh, we'd be paying. We actually want some of those features. We'd be paying right now, but like we can't be bothered with the reinstall. And yeah, for you, it's like, oh, it's just another NPM package or something. But maybe it's whitelisted in the enterprise, and your open source is whitelisted, but your EE, nobody bothered to whitelist it, and now people can use it. So please, dear God, no. Like this is really hard-earned advice. It's a big hindrance.
Yeah. Is it possible to specify the license in a way that doesn't scare people off, or do you think that will be hard as well? Should I just follow this, like the standard license?
Standard license, but it should be clear that if you are not a customer, you don't execute any proprietary code.
Cool. Gotcha. Question is about how to handle other open source offerings. Basically, someone built a feature that we want to build and promote as a premium feature. So we can either fork that and promote it as our own, which is going to be, I mean, perceived as pretty nasty. Or we could try to work with the original creator of that, or we would build our own from scratch.
Yeah, I just worked with the original creator. At some point, someone made a better GitLab CI runner. And we just said, that's awesome. We'll make that official since you licensed it MIT. And by the way, do you want to come work at GitLab? And that guy was Camille. And then he proceeded to integrate GitLab version control and GitLab CI. And because he advocated for that. And we were all against it. And he did it. And it changed the course of the company. So embrace it.
Awesome.
Not going to be paid. Okay. Community was faster than you. Lesson, be faster next time yourself. But all good. There's always more to build, and try to hire the person.
So does make it official imply that we upstream it and then by definition can't make it proprietary?
Yeah. We asked that author, like, hey, how about we maintain this in our repo from now on? But it's always going to be MIT.
Okay, so then can we make it? Okay, so we can't make it part of our premium offering. It's going to be open source.
I don't think so, but also I think it's the orchestrating on Kubernetes seems more like an IC feature than a management feature.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So I think it's a bad page feature to begin with.
Cool. Yeah, I wanted to promote it as basically a free registration required feature. But yeah, I gotcha. Gotcha.
Yep, I see that. Well, you're foregoing that.
Okay. Yeah, last question is more about like how could we maybe leverage this increased usage? And I read the telemetry, so definitely I'll make it. I read the handbook, so I'll definitely make it opt out, I guess, for the telemetry.
Yeah, for sure. Opt-in telemetry doesn't make any sense. And tell the community what you're using it for and how it's going to make your thing better.
Cool.
Kenneth.
Hey there, Kenneth. I'm CTO of Duplicati. And Duplicati is open source backup and recovery that makes it easy for enterprises to trustlessly and efficiently manage and deploy their backup strategy. We enable IT teams to protect their mission critical data and gain key insights within a single system. So my question is around white labeling. So essentially we have a few potential customers requesting white labeling of sorts, and it doesn't seem to be that much of a hassle to implement it. It's basically an extra CSS rule and maybe an image upload, something like that. So it seems easy, but I've just heard don't do it. So I was trying not to step into a trap that I could avoid by hearing the arguments for and against allowing white labeling.
Yeah, thanks for that. Maybe the team can kind of update the page based on what I'm about to say. And can you tell me a little bit more about these people that want to do it? Like, are these like internet providers that offer backup software and they want to offer this to their internet customers? Or like, can you tell me who these people are?
They're mostly MSPs that resell. So
Cool.
they have, yeah.
I think what you described, like company blah 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 backup powered by Duplicati, is fine. It's slapping a logo on top. You're not changing your release cycle. You're not giving them the whole code base and allowing them to like compete in the marketplace. And they have a very, I don't know, focused. They have an existing customer base that they want to cater to. Totally fine. GitLab did that. At GitLab, you can change the logo to just say Sony or something like that. So totally cool. And we'll put some more nuanced language in it. I think it has to be kind of a quick and clean thing. I think where we saw people go off the rails with white labeling is that they started like a 4-month negotiation cycle and then they couldn't get there and they wasted a lot of time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Are these MSPs that are selling to individuals, or
No, I think they have other companies, as smaller companies as customers, like single person dentist, small law firms, stuff like that.
Cool. That's great.
It's like IT outsourcing companies in a certain sense. Yeah, that's fine. That's great.
Andrew? Gobi, I think you're next.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Andrew. I'm the CTO, founder of Gobi. We're building AI interns essentially, and our open core is browser use. And essentially, the question comes down to how like branding and presentation, and essentially browser use is a technology that has so many different applications. Some of them are more developer first, some of them are end users, and currently we're targeting those end users. So if you think of like GitLab, you might have people who are trying to set up their own software as a service, GitHub competitor, but then there's also people who just want to use GitLab. So in this case, we're targeting people who just want to use browser use. Currently, we don't have a lot of branding. We're not using the term browser use. We're not using the term open source a lot in our presentation. And so the core of the question is like, should we be bringing more of that into our branding and presentation? Even though some of our users, possibly a lot of the users, might not even know what browser use is.
It depends a bit, but I assume a lot of your users know what browser use is. So I wouldn't be afraid of that. So I think it's fine to say, hey, we're based on browser use. 3 of our team members are active contributors, and that's what this is the value we add on top of the browser use OSS. Totally fine.
That makes sense. And I do think that there's probably a very important market segment out there that will want to self-host this stuff. And I think that can potentially become a differentiator of Gobi, is that even though browser use is an open source MIT project, the official browser use company version of it is a little bit less open. And in other words, you couldn't run the full browser use cloud on premises in an open source fashion. So yeah, I'll take that into mind. And I think that I'm on the same page that I think we should probably ramp up the open source presentation. And do you think that we should have like a page more like self-host documentation, like more front and center? Because currently we don't have any of that, but we definitely could do that.
Do that. We're totally clear about, hey, this is based on browser use OSS. You host the documentation. You have your pricing front and center.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I do agree that's a sort of a competitive angle that we could take that would be very advantageous. And yeah, essentially they're releasing more. They're kind of going in a more proprietary direction. So they have this stealth. They've advertised this big stealth feature that is just completely not even open source. Whereas We have stealth as well, and you have full access to the source. So yeah, we'll lean into that.
Yeah, I think they're opaque and you're transparent
Okay.
about
I
the
like it.
pricing, about the code and everything else.
Yeah, we're intentionally very transparent about the pricing too. You mentioned low friction earlier. That's a big first principle we're following. Make it as easy for people to pay us money as possible. Even though you do have full access to the source, you can self-host it and so on. But yeah, I like that.
Great.
Philippe, I think you're next.
I am next. Hi, everyone. I'm Philippe Lafaucrière, the CTO of Saint Laurent Homes. We make smart homes future-proof with a home assistant. And I have three questions for you today, Sid. I will try to make that quick. First one is with regards to our discussion that we had this week. We want to address our market through professionals and installers as a distribution channel. I was wondering, I've seen the competition and especially the leader in the market being Snap One. For those who might know the old name, that's Control 4. They offer a revenue share to the professionals that are in their network, and I was wondering if that's something that we should explore as well.
So not only should you offer revenue share, but I think a lot of installers are kind of run month to month. And if they'd have a little bit more money in 1 month, they could be really beneficial to them. You are an AI company, so you can raise money at extremely attractive valuations. So instead of saying, hey, you're just going to get a rev share, anything we get in, you get a cutoff. I think you can say, well, we know these people are going to stick with us for an average of 10 years. We know this is the revenue that will come in over time. And we're just going to give them a cut of that. So where your competition gives them 7% of revenue for the first year, or each year, you give them 7% of revenue for 10 years, or whatever your calculations show. So you're gonna pay 10 times more than Control 4.
Makes sense. Thank
Did
you.
we talked a little bit about,
But it's a one-time cost, right? So in the end, you're good as long as you can finance that stuff.
yeah, Sid, we talked a little bit about what you do, the things that you do that don't scale to just get this thing off the ground with like early.
This scales, Rich.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the comparison though is like Uber had the first 20 drivers they had like on basically payroll just to make sure that they were available to customers. And I think there are ways that we could probably lock up early installers if we can get enough demand in a geographic region just to kind of get this thing off the ground.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
and so we're open to buying one of those businesses or the smaller version. Just get 2 1099 contractors to do it for you. But I think it's really important to realize that what I'm suggesting, that just pay the revenue up over 10 years, all upfront, it's scalable. You can get SaaS revenue financing as soon as you have a couple of years of churn data.
So you would basically not obligate us to pay them on an ongoing basis. You would just front load everything as a one-time payment, which will look more appealing to them, but also be more appealing to us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We make more bucks, they make more bucks in the short run. We make more bucks in the long run. And that's gonna, I presume they're really sensitive to how much they get in every year.
Yeah, if they're getting 20% of a $50 a month payment, they don't care. It's like nothing. But if they get a $500 spiff, it's meaningful.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Thank you. All right. So next question is about the price of the support. I was wondering what was the where to put the cursor there. If we put the cursor too low, it's not adding any value in the eyes of the customers. If we put that too high, there's going to be a lot of expectations. Do you have any recommendation on that?
I think long term, you want at least 60% gross margins. And long term, you're going to get a little bit more efficient because of AI and stuff like that. So suppose you get twice as efficient over time. So 60% gross margins means 40% cost. So twice as efficient means you can handle 80% cost, which is 20% gross margin. So I wouldn't run it at a lower price than break even.
Okay.
What do you think about like low subscription cost but high bar when people want to actually like in the moment where you're trying to figure out how to get your network working or you have a machine that's broken, the desperation to get support is so high. I think you could probably like have a low monthly subscription just to have
Oh
you
yeah.
know,
Yeah, this break even, just to be clear, this whole break even thing is without the commission for the installers, right? That's just a financial thing. We can just do net present value on that and everything else. And just talking about the cost of goods, kind of cost of delivering your services.
Understood. All right, last question for you with regards to GitLab. I'm a bit biased, obviously, but I think GitLab is really, really superior in my opinion to GitHub when it comes to UX and how we manage issues and things like that.
Horrible idea. There's vertical software for the home installer space. And probably these home installers are all running on a software platform already. So just embrace what your customers are using.
Okay. Good to know.
Talk to more installers. This. How many installers have you talked to about their stack?
Between 5 and 10 only, and they
Okay.
use
What are they on?
they use basic ticketing systems. But the idea here is not to put GitLab in front of them. We're going to hide that complexity. GitLab is for us to manage the tickets, actually, the support request.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. There's a startup program at GitLab. You should apply for that.
Okay, didn't know that. Thank you. All right, that's what I had today. Jan, stage is yours.
Hey, Sid. This is Ian, the CTO of Roundtable Labs. We're positioning our monetized product as kind of chain guard for LLMs. So it's a one-stop shop for secure OCI compatible AI artifacts, runnable containers, hardware accelerators, models, the whole 9 yards. Okay, so my second question was just, when to engage users in an activated way. So right now, because we're producing these OCI compatible artifacts, we're putting them out on our registry for users to download for free and usually anonymously. Trying to figure out what the best time is to engage them as a sign-up user and then begin the process of transitioning to a paid customer. The current idea is to think about it in terms of or enterprises that want reproducible builds, put blocks in the way so that they have to engage with the platform directly before they can get something other than, say, the latest tag. But should we be considering requiring sign up first? Should we be or an authentication maybe first, or more generally, when would you think of the best time to engage them?
Yeah, I think it is when they go for a higher value feature that is proprietary. And then it can be some of the proprietary features can require registration, like the reproducible build one or something like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put the registration at the beginning of the path. Like, let them get started. And if they only use it for super basic stuff, we don't want to. It's fine. We don't want to talk with them anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, good morning, Sid. I'm Griffin, CEO of Grape Studio. Yeah, I think you already answered this question from Lars, but does single distribution make sense when our open source software is a library rather than an application like GitLab?
What is your paid stuff?
It's sorry, I beg your pardon?
What is your paid stuff?
It's also it's the SDK, so it's also very similar to the library, but yeah, it's an embeddable version of the library.
I don't like that at all because an SDK doesn't feel like something a manager would want. It feels like an IC feature. It feels like you went for the clean technical split. You have a blog post just about that, about choosing the clean technical split. It's a horrible idea in most cases.
Okay.
So I think you fell for that one, the nice clean technical split between the OSS and the paid, and it's going to make it really hard to get people into your paid product.
Roger. Okay. The second question we had, so we're in the midst of kind of leaving the SDK behind at this point. So the open source software is a
can someone make sure to paste the blog post as well? Mike, can you help, or can somebody else help?
So the open source software is a framework, and that's Grapes.js, and that can be used to create editors in any application. But we're now launching our own application, Grape Studio, by leveraging the framework. We want to leverage the open source software to drive awareness to our new commercial product, but we're afraid of creating confusion amongst the users since it's now serving two separate audiences. What do you think the best way to leverage our open source community is, but at the same time drive engagement to the new product?
Well, the whole problem is it's two different products. Have you read the blog post under 7a?
I have not read your other blog post now.
Yes. Rich, we should have like the 10 essential blog posts to read for new companies, man. This is not okay.
On it.
We've never seen it work, introducing a second product.
So we should chat about this. Like we've talked about this one a few times. Basically, they have an embeddable studio, and the concern that we had is twofold. One is that it's not growing quickly enough, and the other is the embedded use case for this type of product has a fairly low ceiling on the market opportunity. But that product and that community still plays a central role in what our new direction is. The studio is what you use to edit the website that you produce with this like AI website generator. And a large part of the open source funnel actually was people that weren't engineers that wanted to embed this in their application. They were just people that wanted to create lovable style websites. And so we're leaning into that funnel.
Great, but it feels like the whole thing should be open source for now until we get the product more popular, the second product more popular.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
But a new product that's fully paid, like, I mean, it just never worked before, so it'd be the first one.
Okay.
This is not a deviation from what the OSS is. It's building on top of the OSS to an audience that it's already attracting, but it was not the purpose.
New product, new code base. Like we've seen this before, Rich. It's never worked so far.
I think there's a nuance here that either you or I are missing. I think this is one that's worth talking about separately.
Yeah, let's take it to a different call. Matthew.
Hey Sid, I'm Matthew. I'm the CEO and co-founder of MCP Jam. MCP Jam is an open source testing and debugging platform for MCP servers. And we have developers from Asana, IBM, and Vercel using MCP Jam to make sure that their servers work in a production environment. I do want to ask about the single distribution. Like we want to do a single distribution, but I'm concerned about the discoverability of the enterprise offering. So the inspector product, that's the open source product, and we want to create a subfolder for our enterprise offering, which is the end-to-end testing. But because like it is a subfolder of the inspector, it's hard for users to discover that folder and start using that. So I'm wondering if there are ways to
maybe there's a little bit of confusion here. Like there's not a second executable or something like that. You just run it. And then in the interface, it says, hey, do you want to use XYZ? And then if you do that, then you start using the paid product. I think in your case, we discussed it, what was it, yesterday?
Yep.
And it was like the end-to-end, we just offer it in the open source one, and we say like proprietary to make it clear. And then you start using the end-to-end, it's free, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to run it a permanent test or as a cloud hosted uptime test or cloud hosted load test, then you have to create an account and create a subscription on the website.
So have the
So-
end-to-end built into the open source inspector product.
I think there should be a button in the open source product to go use the end-to-end functionality. And to play safe your users, you should probably, who might not want to use anything proprietary, you should probably make clear it's a proprietary feature.
Got it, will do. My second question is about telemetry. Like we are building telemetry into our product, tracking like what users are clicking and how they're using it. I'm wondering if there's a risk to doing that and whether we should communicate that to our users.
Well, we have a blog post about it. It should be a value exchange. So you should talk about what value people will get from the telemetry and exactly what is collected.
Is there an issue with just passively collecting it? Like, do you think we should explicitly let our users know that we are collecting telemetry?
Well, explicitly not in have a freaking blog post, but explicitly as it should be clear. So it should be, you shouldn't try to hide it. It should be clear somewhere in your docs. You should talk about telemetry and what you collect and how to maybe turn it off and what is being sent and etc.
Got it. And my last question is, from your experience at GitLab, like we want to sell to companies and have them build our product in their CI/CD pipeline. So I'm wondering if you have any suggestions on how to sell to customers and get our product in their pipeline.
No, pretty hard. Datadog is trying to get into CI/CD pipelines with monitoring. Maybe have a look at their stuff, because they tend to think well about the UX.
Okay, will do. Thank you so much, Sid.
Thanks.
Matt Joseph, you're next.
Hey, Sid. Matt Joseph, CEO at Sterling. Sterling's the most popular PDF app on GitHub with over 10 million downloads in the last year, on our way to overtaking Adobe Acrobat as the most popular PDF app in the world.
I
So I have a couple of questions.
How far are we from that?
It's a great question. I mean, hopefully like 4 to 5 years.
Awesome. Love it.
So a
Love
couple questions
that
about
intro. Like what a great ambition.
Yeah, Adobe needs to go away. So I had a couple of questions about some community backlash that we've received. We've been testing an overhaul of our UI, and that it does two things. One, it polishes out the experience, but second, it has stricter paywalls, which are in line with the open core model. Most of the feedback so far has been positive, but some of our maintainers don't like it. And we've educated them about it. We've told them that our business is going to help us invest in the open source, but there's been some consternation on our team about it. There's some of our engineers have strong
on your payroll.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Well, how about you do free dinner for everybody every month if you beat the revenue goal?
I like that.
And you talk about the revenue goal every freaking chance you get. It's really the maintainers are upset that are not on your payroll. So you gotta talk to the maintainers. And that's not necessarily going to go well. But don't have to. Like, they want you to listen, and then you got to make a few changes. Some maintainers will have very specific concerns. Like, yeah, I understand, but this thing is, I don't know, it should charge for only black and white PDFs and not color PDFs or something like that. You make a few modifications for the biggest things so that you show you've listened, because they all expect you after listening to it to do absolutely nothing. So if you do like 3 to 5 things, you're already doing a lot better. And you do them quickly. Like you talk to them and the next day you ping them, hey, we've decided to, hey, thanks for the conversation. So loosen it up
That's
a little
great.
bit based on just one-to-one talks.
That's great. Yeah, I'll do that. Sorry, go ahead.
And some people will just get more upset. It is what it is. Some people will, so you will have a bifurcation because of what you do. So some of them will start warming up and some of them will get more angry. And that's okay. They might quit the project. That's okay. But you got to go out there. This is you're the CEO. Part of it is keeping that community with you and take them seriously. Everyone wants to be listened to. And then if you follow up within the day on something and actually less monetize something, then they'll be very, very impressed.
Okay, so hey Sid, this is Greg Suratek, CEO of OpenCore EMR. So before OpenCore EMR, there was no free and easy way to get started with OpenEMR in the cloud. So we built that. And in the first 6 days since promotion began on openemr.org of our free tier of OpenEMR, 105 healthcare practices have signed up so far, including 50
That
international.
is insane. That is insane.
Yeah, even though we state clearly at many steps through the process that we only support US practices, but we've had 50 international practices sign up. It's a regulated industry, and we understand the economic and regulatory frameworks here in the US. We're but very unclear of what the opportunity looks like internationally. And so our question is, how would you prioritize resourcing if you were in our shoes? International expansion or building out the product for US customers? And I should note that supporting US practices, the OpenEMR Foundation Board was fine with us starting that way. And they just so happen to all be based in the US, and all of the project admins are based in the US, but the project's super popular internationally.
Cool. I think your future is to be a truly international company. And when you are an international company, you will refer to the international as the non-US portion of your business, not the international portion of your business. So might as well start that today. And regarding the non-US portion, should you focus on it, depends on whether there's money in it. If it's in India, there's no money in it. If it's in Norway, there's money in it. So it really depends which countries it are. I want to see high GDP per country, per citizen, per capita countries in order to make that assessment.
Sid, totally agree. It's a helpful exercise. I think for where these guys are now, like it's a different regulatory environment. They're different schemas, like localization.
I know, Rich. I also know the answer is going to be freaking India, and it's not worth pursuing. I just want to pretend that I'm data oriented.
Yeah. It might also be Africa, so I don't think that changes the
GDP per capita. That's not going to help us either. So
yeah.
So we estimate that there's not going to be a lot of Norway in there, and
none so
hence
far.
So hence you could probably focus on the US.
All right, thanks, Sid.
Thanks.
I think I'm next.
And again, like crazy success, like 10 in that time period, or 100 in that time period is insane.
Yeah, it's been exciting the last week.
I'm Brian Boyer. I'm the head of product for Kernelize. Kernelize builds VLLM backend plugins to seamlessly deploy AI inference to any GPU, CPU, or NPU. Our VLLM Enterprise Edition analyzes and device tunes graphs to improve performance and reduce cost. So Kernelize is contributing to these three.
Wait, you're the Triton project, right?
We're the Triton project, but really,
well, you're the Triton company, and you have a thing without mentioning Triton in it.
Yeah, I mean, no, the inference. If we go after inference, then nobody knows what Triton is. They know what VLLM is, and we can use Triton to make it better, but they don't know Triton. So that's really that's kind of the heart of this question: is should we pivot to the folks that do know Triton? So I'll give you a little more background, and then we can talk about it. I mean, we really So Kernelize is building or contributing to 3 open source projects. It's a test harness called Triton Bench, and then there are standard backends for Triton and VLLM. So we contribute to the frameworks to standardize how do you connect to Triton as a new NPU, and how do you connect to VLLM as a new NPU, and VLLM uses a lot of Triton.
Okay, this is above my current capacity to process, and we're at time for this call. So let's schedule 25 minutes together to dive into your question. I think it's great. I don't think it might not be relevant to the rest of the people.
Okay. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.